Hello everyone, this is Amanda with A Joyful Scrapper, and today we are doing day 1 of Christy's Beautiful Life's 30 Days of Sketches for Series 15. Today our sketch, which I just showed you on the screen, is by Ginger Bush, and it has some pretty different features. Like, I haven't seen a sketch like this before. Up on the top, she had a few hexagon shapes, and then her 3 photos, some journaling spots, and then some arrows on here. So this was quite interesting, and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it. But as you can see, what I decided to do instead of the hexagons is I decided to take the frames from my Simple Stories Life in Bloom collection, which is what I will be using for this layout. And I decided to, instead of doing the hexagons, to do the 3 frames up at the top with 3 pictures in them. So I decided to pull out the green paper with that collection. It has green on the front and pink on the back. It's kind of the solids collection that they sell along with the Life in Bloom collection. And so I decided to use the green because I am featuring pictures of the landscaping we did in our front yard this spring. So there's a lot of green in it, so I decided to pull that out with the green background paper. So as you can see, I have started adding a little bit of mixed media to the back. Although this paper already has, some vintage looking designs and wording and distressing all on the background, I wanted to add a bit more. So I'm starting off with some Distress Oxide in Rustic Wilderness. And I used one of, I believe it's a Simple Stories stencil that I had in my stash that has just kind of these little lattice looking, or if you would rather call them diamond shapes. That's what the stencil is. And so I did that first and just kind of randomly all over where I was going to, so I could see a bit of it poking out from behind the photos and the frames when I put them on. And I did go ahead and also do little splatters, as you just saw. I'm going to add a few more splatters, but this time I'm going to do it in bundled sage to just give a little bit of depth of color here. So I did the darker first. I'm going on with some splatters with the lighter color here, and I'm just kind of spreading it around here and there, just trying to, like I said, deepen the color, just give us a little bit of variation here. I'm just dotting on to give me a few like bigger splotches of that lighter color in here. And so in a second here, what I am going to do is grab another stencil, and this is the one with all of my coffee rings and coffee stains on here. So I wanted just a little bit more of that bundled sage to show up. So I'm using a little bit of the bigger splatters on this stencil. This is probably one of my favorite stencils. Although I forget to pull my stencils out most of the time, I love this one because, I mean, who doesn't love the look of that coffee ring everywhere? I just decided that I wanted the splatters this time, or the drips, instead of the coffee ring, but generally it's that coffee ring that I use off from this stencil. I don't know where I got this. I think I randomly ordered it off from Amazon. I don't even think I have the original packaging left anymore. I've had it for quite a while now, and I just pull it out whenever I want to give those bigger splotches that I'm not getting very much of with my splatter technique. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is instead of the 3 photos on the bottom, I want to do my title down there on the bottom, and I want to create a base for my title. So what I decided to do was take out my modeling paste or texture paste and mix it with a little bit of that, the green. I think I chose the darker green, but I might be wrong. So I don't remember if I used Rustic Wilderness or Bundled Sage. I think it's the Rustic Wilderness because it has a deeper hue to it. So, and I wanted a little bit more of that deeper hue to come through. So I just mixed it in with the white paste. And as you can see on the bottom, I just globbed it on there. I know it looks like a hot mess right now, but it really does what I want it to do once it dries. It creates kind of like this base for where I'm going to put my title. And then I'm just globbing a little bit of it here and there to just add, like I said, more texture and more interest to the background once we get those frames stuck on there. Okay, so I set that aside to dry for a bit. I did use my heat gun just a little bit to get it started, but then I just set it aside while I worked on getting my photos into my frames. So here you can see those 3 photos of the landscaping we completed in our front yard this fall. And all I did was I just used my adhesive to put them onto the back of the frame, and then I just cut around it. Real simple, just no big deal there. I am not putting these up on any kind of foam, any dimension, because they have enough as it is, and I didn't want it sticking out any further than it needed to, especially because I decided I was going to put that center one up on the edges of the other 2 frames, so it is already sticking up a little. I lied just a second ago. I will put a little bit of foam beneath that center one just to keep it steady, but not to raise it up any higher than it already is. So I don't know that I will show you doing that. I think I've already just done it. So here I am getting into my 6x8 pad, and you know, I don't use these pads quite as much as I should. I have several of them from different collections, and I honestly just forget that I have them. I just get absorbed in the 12x12 papers, and I start cutting those apart that I forget I have these little pads here. So I had it stored away with my collection this time instead of with my other little 6x8 pads. And so I had it sitting right there in front of me, and I decided, let's go ahead and use this. So I'm just tearing strips of paper. I'm putting one under each of the side frames and then one down there on the bottom, that's going to act as an anchor for my title once I get that going. I'm going to use this newspaper reprint from the Life in Bloom collection, and then I'm going to grab another one that has leafy bits on it. So like it almost looks like ivy or maybe just branches. And I'm going to do the same thing, just tear a few strips, and I'm going to layer them with the print that I just put down already. And like I said, that down there is, I'm creating a base. I'm kind of trying to give the same idea that she had in this sketch with the 3 photos across the bottom. I still want our eye to kind of drag across the bottom like that, but I just did not put my photos down there. So I'm trying to play along the best that I can, but obviously I am switching this sketch up to work with my supplies and my photos, which is something we should always do. And as someone who has put a sketch in one of these before and also has one in this time, like, we are all for people using their imagination and using the sketches just as a jumping off point to create a page that you're going to love. So that is what I am doing here. I'm just kind of trying to make this what I want it to be and pleasing to my eye, and that's what really matters. As far away as I got from this sketch, honestly, I feel like it goes okay with it. So I took the title Life Documented. It just came from the ephemera, and that is what I'm using as my title down on the bottom. I have not adhered it yet because there are a few things that I am going to use still to kind of anchor it. I am putting that little banner there that says amazing, and then I'm going to pop those butterflies up on some foam, and they're going to be sticking up on the side there. I'm tucking a little ticket up on the top just to kind of build up that cluster a little bit. I did a cluster on each side, basically, just really small ones because there's enough going on here. Those frames are quite busy. So like here, I'm just tucking another flower underneath just to give a little dimension, but that's all I'm going to do down there on the bottom. I'm not going to add anything else. It just doesn't need anything else. It just felt like there needed to be just a slight bit of dimension under there to just for some interest. Here I'm going to put another banner. It says one of a kind. I haven't stuck it down yet. I'm just going ahead and distressing these with my fingers. I don't want them to be too distressed, but just a little bit to give them a little shape and interest. So down on the bottom with the title, I am putting this green flower, and then on the other side, I am putting a little bit of leafy bits there. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere my title down. I put some adhesive down, some tape roller adhesive, and then a little bit of wet glue just to keep it in place, to get it stuck down, and then to hold it down permanently. Sticking a little wet glue underneath there, and then I'm going to fit my greenery back in the back part and then glue that down as well. I will tuck a little bit of foam underneath those leaves. I don't believe I do it on camera, so underneath the leaves and underneath the flower, I did stick a little bit of foam just to help them stick up just a slight bit. It's very thin foam, maybe like 1/8 of an inch, just kind of your cheapy craft foam. And here are the adhesive brads that come with the collection. I'm just sprinkling a few around. Nothing too exciting, just putting some in there so we get a little bit of that middle shine and just that shininess in general. I'm kind of checking it out, trying to figure out which one I want next. I was being a little precious about it and taking my time, trying to figure out which ones I wanted where and which ones would work best. And then at the end, I ended up sticking this butterfly down there. So it went along with the butterflies that are in the title. Okay. So what am I doing here? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add a few more splatters. So this time I'm grabbing my shimmers. It's a Vibes called Frogget Me Not. And I just wanted to do that just to add a little sparkle. So here's the up close. You can see how I curled up the edges of my torn paper. There's all of the detail of those beautiful frames. There's my title with the paste in the background. It ended up blending in pretty well, so it's not like overpowering. And that is that. So make sure that you look at the playlist so you can see what everybody else is doing. I hope that you enjoyed this video and you got a little bit of inspiration. I'll see you next time. Bye.